Hello and welcome everybody. I'm finally back for another video. Now, on Instagram, about 90% of people who voted on what type of tutorial I should make said I should make a tree tutorial. So I thought, well, let's do that. So behind me I have three of the three most basic trees in my opinion in Minecraft. There's 6 types of trees in Minecraft, and I think the acacia, the jungle, and the dark oak are kind of the more, I don't know, they're kind of farther out. These seem more homey and more basic. So I thought I would make 3 kind of basic custom versions of each one of these 3 trees. And so let's get in and I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll get into building some of them. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, so here they are, the pretty basic but a bit nicer looking versions of each one of those trees. We have the oak tree here, we have the spruce tree here, which are both designs I've used before, and we have this birch one which I came up with, which I was actually pretty happy with because I usually really don't like the birch wood, but this one, I don't know, it came out pretty nice. Let me know what you think of it. And then I made the sapling versions of each of those two, which are made each one in a pretty similar way to the main tree, but with some slight differences in materials and a little bit in the way that it's made. So let's go into, just kind of give you another look close up of each one. Kind of this tree is made out of the trunk of the tree is made out of some oak wood, some strip spruce, and some spruce fences. The leaves have some oak leaves and jungle leaves, so that's what you should get if you're planning on making this tree. The sapling version has, well, it's much less stuff. It's just oak leaves and spruce fences. We have, for this one here, for the spruce tree, we have spruce leaves, spruce logs, and dark oak logs for a bit of variation, and the dark oak fences. And for the sapling, it's just the dark oak fences and spruce leaves. For this one, it has the most different types of resources because it was looking kind of bad with a texture for this, because really it's a pretty ugly texture, the birch, but when it's kind of spaced around with a few cleaner blocks, it looks pretty nice. So I've got obviously the birch logs, some bone block, and some mushroom stem, I think that's what it's called. Then we've got some birch fences, birch leaves, and some acacia leaves, and altogether that comes out pretty nice. For the sapling, it's just birch leaves and birch fences. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with all the designs, and I'm actually not just in any flat world. I'm in the same world that has all the other stuff that I'm doing, like this town and all this place that I'm hoping to do a lot of work in this world. But I was thinking I'm going to maybe work a bit on this hill right now, and then I'll come in and start adding in these trees. I'll give you the design of how I'll build them and give them more in-depth tutorial on how to actually build them right here. And then what I'll do after that, then maybe I'll go off camera and build a few more, and then kind of talk a bit about blending them into the environment a bit and making it look like a full forest. So I'll be back. I'll go work on this a bit, and I'll be back in a second. See you in a bit. Alrighty, well, dinner and like 20 minutes later, we have a little hill here right on the side of where the ocean's gonna come out to kind of start to fill in the area. And let's get into building one of these trees. So I like that this tree is a little by itself out here. I think that looks kind of nice, and then we'll kind of add in a few more, maybe 1 or 2 around here, and then it'll get thicker and thicker as we go this way, and by the time we get over to this whole area here, it'll be more of a full-on woods. So let's maybe add in 1 tree right here. Let's make a little footprint for it. I think something like that might be nice. Maybe we'll add one here. I don't know, we can work on it later also once we start adding in the fences and stuff, but let's leave it like this for now, and we'll work on it later. So that's a good start. You want to make a nice little footprint. Maybe if we put one here or something, I don't know. This is kind of a pretty big footprint for a big tree. As you can see, this one over here, it's actually about the same size, and then it comes up to be smaller pretty quickly. So this is like where the roots are. That's a nice little footprint. You can really make it in any shape you want. Yeah, okay, so the next step, what you want to do is build another layer. This kind of works in layers, and one of the ways I really like to make layers on these trees is by doing little like 3 blocks like this, and just kind of here, if we do one like this, then the next one we could be like that, you see, and then the next one will be right there, and we just kind of make layers of these 3 blocks that kind of, we can almost do like a little spiral right here like that. That looks kind of nice. And then we could maybe have it branch off into 2 sections of the tree, one that's a little smaller. So we'll have this part kind of go that way, and then right out here maybe we'll bring out one that's a bit smaller, and instead of doing layers that's like a little L or like 3 blocks, we'll just do one that's like 2 blocks like that, you see. So then this one here is a bit bigger, so it'll go up a bit higher. Let's maybe bring that up to here. See, that looks kind of nice. Actually, it looks a bit top heavy right now, so what if we kind of go like this? You see, we just kind of do the little L shaped, and then L shapes, and then afterwards we go through and edit and make it look a bit better. Whatever looks a bit off, we kind of fix it up. Alright, that looks nicer. Remember, it's always good to be sparing with the big blocks, because later on, once we add the fences, all the places that look like right here, maybe that it looks like there should be a block here, if we put in a fence, it really ties it together. Well, but we'll bring in the fences in a bit. So let's see, let's finish up this trunk, and then we'll take a look. What if we move that over there? See, it's all kind of experimental, looking around. Now this part doesn't look so good, so what if we actually break that? You see, that branch came out really nice. It's just really experimental. Whatever you don't like, just break it and try something else. Yeah, it's really that simple. There we go. That came out nice. Okay, so we've got the trunk. We'll go through and do some more editing later. The first thing we want to do, though, is all the ones that have the grain going sideways. We just want to replace them so that all the grain is going up. It just looks a bit better that way. So find all the blocks with where the grain's wrong, and I think there we go. So see, now that looks, oh, there's still a bit more, but it just makes it all look more natural and more one tree. Let's see, there's quite a bit that are sideways. Alright, so now that we've got this, let's move on to the next part, and if I catch any other ones, I'll fix them later. The next part, what you want to do is, after we've got the nice looking base of the tree, the trunk, we start to you go around this branch, and you just kind of stand at one point, and you just point it at the center, and you just kind of spam it. And sometimes it comes out looking a bit way too thick, like right there, but that's okay, because we're not actually going to see any of this. This is just to kind of give a nice gradient, and then you look around for any area that's an area like right here where it looks like it's definitely missing a branch here, and we just kind of pop 2 pieces of wood there. Again, it's all very much just whatever doesn't look good. Whatever right here, it's obviously missing something right here. It's got to come down a bit, because we want to make it into sort of a sphere. That's what you're going for. So we're looking right here is definitely missing something, so we just kind of pop some of those down there. Pop this that way. Down here it's missing something, so let's go down here maybe. You see, it's all very much experimental, and that kind of makes a nice little sphere that's a little misshapen, which is good because it's not supposed to be a perfect sphere. We're definitely missing something here. As you can see, it's all, the center is like right here, so we want to pull another something out here to, there we go. So that looks nice. Now this side's going to be a little bit bigger because this is the bigger branch, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to go to random points, point at the middle, and just hit the button a bunch of times. Alright, so I'll be back when this is... Alrighty, so it's all done now. We've got 2 like little balls of wood. What it actually looks like, again, just to show right here, it's missing something. You see, like the whole thing, it almost looks like almost a circle, and then it kind of cuts over here in a straight line. So if we just kind of go like this and maybe just add in a little branch there, maybe we'll edit this to be like that. There we go, that looks all nice. Okay, so the next step is you grab your oak leaves and you just want to go to about where the ball starts, about in the center of the ball, and you just want to hide every single bit of oak. So not on the stem, or not the stem, the trunk here obviously, but we're just going to go up here to this ball of branches that we made. And we're just gonna quickly just really cover up all the wood, because it just looks better that way. I don't really, I mean, I've seen some people do it where they leave a bit of the wood sticking out, but I don't know, I don't like that as much. We'll add in a bit of fences later on up here too, which kind of makes it like small branches, but leaving a log exposed is just a bit too much. So you get the picture. So again, I'll just finish this all up and cut away, because I'm sure it's not very interesting to just watch me spam around leaves, and we have a few more things to cover. This is just the first type of tree, so I'll be back once this is all done. Alrighty, so I finished covering all the oak with leaves. Now it still doesn't look good, it's a little too messy, so we want to keep a bit of the messiness because that looks nice, but we want to come through and certain places again that don't look nice. Maybe I don't like that at all, but we'll just kind of go around, add in a bit more, kind of make it a bit more of an organized mess. Let's see, this whole area looks nice. It's really like, I wish I could give more like of a formula of how to do it, but it's really just with these kind of things, you just go around and see what looks nice. And like this hole here, I don't like the way that looks, so you just kind of fill that in. There's not too much of a reason, you know, it's just all how it looks. Like this hole too doesn't look good. Yeah, I really wish I could give more information, but it just takes like practice. Like I was so bad at making trees, so I never actually made custom trees. I can maybe sometimes show you some of the old horrors that I used to make, and then I just kind of kept working, see what works and what doesn't, and now they come out a bit better, you know. Like there's still room to be better, but like these trees are, and this one too, it's coming up pretty nice. So the next step, what you want to do is you want to go into, you don't want to go completely from the outside, but somewhere in a bit closer to the middle, and you want to just add in a few bits that kind of hang down, like a few branches that are just a bit more lower down. You can use things like this that already have something hanging down, and you just pop down another block right next to it like that, you see, and then that gives it, I don't know, it just makes it look a little more realistic and overgrown, and a little more yeah, you know, a little more like an actual tree. So let's see, it's again, you know, and if one doesn't look good, like if I added one here, I bet it probably wouldn't look so good. Yeah, that doesn't look so good, so you just, whatever doesn't look good, you just break it, move it back a block. That looks a bit better. There we go. You see, it's all just like that. And so now that tree's pretty nice. So the next step is really just the final details. Like theoretically, if you wanted, you could just leave the tree like this. It looks good enough already. But I like to, in all my stuff, add in a bunch of texture variation, as you can tell from my grass, my buildings, my other trees, all my stuff. So you just, for this one, you just want to grab some other leaf. I've seen that this one looks nice with it, the jungle leaves, and they look nice with the oak leaves. And this is really just randomly. This has absolutely no reason. I'm just going around. I don't want to do it too heavy in each place. Like the only thing I could say is don't try to spread them out a bit. That way it just kind of, it still looks like the oak leaves. It's just got a bit more, it's not so repetitive and bland. So let's see, we'll just pop down a few more of those. See, that looks pretty nice. It's alright if you have a few next to each other, but just make sure you don't like suddenly make half the tree all of one type, because then it starts to look kind of weird. So that makes the leaves look a bit better. Then we can come down here to the trunk and grab the stripped spruce and just, again, pretty randomly just replace some blocks. Maybe we can add one there just to make it look a bit better. Pop that there and there. one there, one there. You know, now that looks a bit more better. And now for the final details, you grab the fences. We look around for anything that looks a bit weird, like right here. That could use one. They look nice on the ground too, like around. I usually put most on the base, and then on the trunk it's just really in the areas that kind of look a bit empty, like this here. This definitely looks pretty empty, as you can see. So you just pop down 2 of those right there, and maybe 1 right there. Suddenly that whole thing looks much better. We could pop 1 down there, 1 here maybe. You know, now the trunk looks a bit thicker and just a bit more alive. You can put another one maybe here. That looks pretty nice. We'll put 1 there. It looks really nice to put them at the ends of things like this, when one comes down and then it just kind of goes a full block sideways and it looks a bit awkward. So if you just pop 1 of there, it's a nice little transition. Now the next thing you want to do is just kind of go around in the leaves here. Mostly stick to around the trunk. You don't go like way out here, but if you just kind of pop down a few of these, that gives it a nice, makes it look like there's some branches in here. We could add in a bunch. It makes it look like there's just some branches holding you know, in the leaves. So again, just making it look more and more realistic. And maybe we could pop 1 right here, like. Alright, I think that's about good for this tree. It came out pretty nice. So I hope that tutorial of this tree was interesting enough. And now I'll go grab the other resources and we'll build a spruce tree. So let's just see where we'll build it. I think right here could use a nice spruce tree to break it up so it's not just a bunch of oak trees. Alright, well, I'll be back to do that. Alrighty, so we've got our spruce logs, our dark oak logs, our dark oak fences, and our spruce leaves. And we'll start building this next tree. And I'm thinking right here might be a good place where it's not too far away. Let's make sure it's not too far away, like right here. Not too far away, and then kind of in between both of these 2 trees and the sight lines from over there, just to kind of break it up so it's not a bunch of the same type of tree. And for this tree, what we're going to do is we're going to do a pillar of 3 right there. We'll do maybe a pillar of 2 right next to it, maybe 1 right there. This one has a bit of a smaller base. Here, let's pop down 2 right there maybe, and no, it's a little too symmetrical. So let's do like that. Okay, we'll start it out with this, and then we'll do the rest of the detailing with the fences. So that's a pretty nice base. And now what you want to do for this tree is you just want to grab this, pull it up pretty high up. It always looks like when you do it like, okay, this is higher than it should be, but it always works out. So we'll go right there. Okay, that looks about good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go maybe 2 blocks above the highest root. And we're going to just, what we do with this is we want to make a little branch that kind of comes out kind of far and then just dips down a bit right at the end, right about there. And then maybe we'll go up 1 block above it and we'll do the same thing. So it just kind of goes like that. Comes out. Well, let's turn this way so it kind of gets to this area a bit more. You see, it just kind of comes out and then down right at the end. So we'll bring this one up over here too, like that, down at the end, and move that there. Okay, so that's pretty nice. And now we'll go up another block here, come out there. That's pretty much what you want to do for all these branches. Let's do this a bit faster. Come out and down a bit, and as you go up, you gradually get smaller and smaller and smaller. So as you can see, these 2 branches here are already smaller than the branches we had down here. Every layer is maybe 3 branches. This is too big. Maybe 3 branches. And then yeah, so there's 3 branches at the bottom about the same length, 3 branches about the same length again. We'll go up here and we'll make these ones even smaller. This one right there like that. Let's change this a bit. Let's break that one, go here. I think that'll be better. 1 more right here, and then up here we'll just pop like 1 right there. Alright, that looks pretty nice. That looks pretty decent. Maybe we'll just kind of make these a bit thicker, because there we go. That looks nice. We'll just want to make sure above the top branch you want to have 2 pieces two logs of spruce, and then you want to put two leaves on top. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is we're going to go about from right here, right next to the lowest branch. So we're going to line up with the lowest branch. We're going to go one lower here, obviously, because the branch is there. But we want to line up with the lowest branch, do a little ring around the thing. And from here all the way to the top now, the next step is just to cover every single log with the spruce leaves. So we're just going to go through and cover all of that up. So that's, pretty straightforward. So I'll be back once that is all done. Alright, so we've covered it all up. Now, as you can see, this tree, it already looks pretty good, even without not doing much fixing up. There's a few places that could use a bit of fixing up again, like just 1 or 2 blocks every now and then. But this tree requires much less of that. If you just cover the branches up, the tree already looks pretty decent. Okay. Now, also, I've noticed in this tree, I don't really like to mix in any other type of, that's purely preference. If you want, you can add in, I think birch leaves look pretty good with spruce leaves. So yeah, mix in some birch or something like that. I personally don't like to do it with the spruce. Alright, but the next step, you want to come around the base and just, again, because you can't see any of the wood up top, so you just sprinkle in a couple of these down here. And then you grab the fences and just kind of, again, plop them around. And then put a few up here in the leaves. And this tree is kind of a bit more simple. So there we go. The tree is all done. I think, yeah, the tree's done. Alright. So that looks pretty nice. Now, the other tree, I don't think really fits into this area. Or at least I don't really want it to be in this type of woods here. So for this birch tree, it looks, I don't know, it looks more like a swampy kind of willowy tree. So let's see. So I think I'll just build one of those right here on the side, because this one also has a pretty interesting way of building it. So I'll build one just like right here. So yeah, so again, it has a bit of a smaller base, kind of like the spruce. The way you build this one is you want to pull it up to, we'll say about there. That's about good. And then the type of branches you want to do here, they kind of go up a bit, and then they come down on the other end. And you just want to do, wait, this one's a bit too straightforward. Let's do something like this. We'll have it kind of come up there. We'll have it kind of go down right like that, maybe. There we go, that looks nice. Let's have one that kind of goes very much sideways this way and then down there. It's a bit too thick. You want to keep these ones pretty light. You don't want to have it like that's too bulky. So actually no, let's leave it there, but let's break that. That's good. And we'll have one more that how about let's actually have this one start out higher than the rest, and we'll have it not go up anymore but just kind of come down a bit, right like that. Maybe let's turn this that way. There we go. No, let's bring this up. Okay, there we go. That looks kind of nice. Alright, the next step, you want to grab your birch leaves and you just want to cover the top. You don't want to cover anything other than the tops. Every top of the block that you can see up here, obviously not the roots, but that's pretty obvious. Alright, so we'll just kind of go around here, cover up all the tops of the blocks, and then we want to cover up all the sides. But let's see if there's any. If there's a side like this side here, we're not gonna do this side of the block because it has a block above it. You don't want to do any blocks that have this side here. We're not gonna do that because it has a block above it. So everything that doesn't have a block above it, we'll cover that up. And you just want to go around to basically the perimeter of the branches. Let's quickly get this all done. You can have obviously you can have like a leaf block above the leaf block. You just don't want to have a birch block above any of the leaf blocks. There we go. So that's all done. And now the next part's really simple. You just kind of come down below it, and you just pull these down a bit. You just kind of randomly, just the ones on the outskirts, you just at random lengths. You want to make sure when you have two that are the same length, it looks a bit weird. So you want to just a bunch of variation here and just kind of pull them all down, and it creates this really nice kind of like sagging, sad tree effect. Kind of, it would be nice in a swamp maybe. Replace the you would probably want to keep the birch leaves because they look really nice with this type of tree, but maybe replace the logs with like a dark oak or something, and then you've got a really nice swamp tree or something. Maybe you could pull these down even lower and then put some vines on it too to make it look really nice. Let's just finish pulling these down really quickly. As you can see, it's really simple, this tree, and it comes out pretty nice. And then the next trick that I'll show you for this tree, you can really use for any, here, so that's all done. You can really use for any birch tree, which I thought was really nice because it's just this type of birch tree, it's just too much of the black spots. So if you just grab one of these, a bone block and a mushroom stem, and some birch fences, you just grab these and you just replace some of the birch with just kind of cleaner white blocks. So you don't want to have like quartz or wool that's like really white. That's why I picked these two, because first of all, they both kind of look like something natural. They don't look like the wool block would look really bad on this, and it's just way too white. You don't want something that's super clean because it is, after all, still a tree trunk. So it looks nice with kind of these messier kind of off-white blocks. I think off-white's the right term. And we'll just kind of pop those in there. That's already looking much better. And then we'll just for a bit more detail, I didn't think that these fences would look good with it because they're kind of a different color, but I guess, I don't know, something about it, it still looks alright. And then you can just come down here underneath all the branches that have no leaves on them and just kind of plop down a few fences there. And then for the final bit of detailing, which is what I did over here, I just grabbed the acacia leaves because they look really nice, and you just replace a few of these things that hang down. You don't want to do like just individual leaves because that looks kind of weird. So if you just kind of go through to pick a few of the things that hang down, you just get rid of them and replace them, the entire thing, with acacia. Let's see, let's quickly get that done. That gives it a bit less of a swampy feel and a bit more of a kind of alive and happy and cleaner, and a bit more like a birch tree, really. I don't know if you've ever seen a birch tree, but they're much more, to be honest, I think the acacia leaves match the color of a birch tree better than the actual birch leaves in the game, because the leaves are very very green, at least the white birch. The leaves are very green. So there we go. So that gives a really nice tree. I really like those, like making a whole forest out of these types of trees, and then maybe sprinkling around every now and then maybe an oak tree or something like that. I think that could look really, really nice. Alright, so that's the quick tutorial on how to build those. Now I'll go in the sapling here. I don't think I'm going to give a tutorial on it, first of all, because it really doesn't look good. I really was not happy with the sapling, and it's the exact same thing that you do over there, just instead of using logs, you just use fences. As you can see, all the branches are cleared, and then the last thing you want to do is go around and expose some of the branches, but it looks bad. I die. This thing was not it was a evil creation. These two, though also not so good, were much better than that. So that one was probably the best. This one was alright. So I'll cut away and then I'll go back over there and we'll start building these. So see you. Alright, so this tree is much simpler. It only has 3 different blocks. And I think and it's much smaller too, so we don't need as big of an area. So I think we'll just place it in right here. No, what you want to do is here. Maybe that's no, that doesn't give it enough room. All right, let's go over here, right in the middle. And so for the bottom of this, you just want to put one. It's optional to put this block. I at the beginning I didn't have them, but I kind of actually like the way it looks. You just place down one of those. You put some fences around. Maybe you pick up one of the fences that's too high, and then you just kind of pull the stem out of that to make the base. I thought maybe this would look bad with the fences, but I don't know. It looks a bit awkward right here, but I think, to be honest, I really think it works fine. So you pull it out to a certain point, and then you kind of do the same thing that we did here, where you just kind of go to a certain point and you just kind of make a little ball again, wherever it looks like there needs to be a branch, wherever to make kind of a messy looking spherical system of branches. We'll go over here. Let's see, right there. There we go. That looks pretty nice. And now you want to just kind of go around and put these, but it's a little more complicated than just covering everything, because what you want to do is wherever there's one that kind of sticks out, like both of these, you want to leave them exposed, because the saplings wouldn't have as many leaves quite yet as the big trees. So wherever you want to, right here, like this one's, so we'll cover it up a bit, but we'll leave it so you can still see the won't completely surround it like we will some of these other ones, and that way you can still see the like the branches, the small little twiggy branches of the saplings. And yeah, and then we'll go through and plump it out a bit to make it look a bit nicer, and there we go. We've got a small little tree there. That came out pretty nice, and let's quickly grab the resources for the spruce. So we're gonna need right here, we're gonna need a stripped spruce log. We're gonna need, from this tab, we're gonna need the spruce leaves and the spruce fences. There we go. Oh wait, no, we want the dark oak fences. Sorry, the dark oak fences right here. So we should actually probably get the stripped dark oak log. I think that'll look better. Should we get the stripped dark oak, or should we just use the spruce? Let's just use the spruce. Okay. And where should we build this one? Let's build this one right over here, maybe. It's a little tight over here. That's okay. We'll plop it down right there. We'll kind of go like this. There we go. That looks pretty nice. This one again, so it's similar to the spruce where you pull it up higher than you think it's gonna need to be. And then let's actually go up 2 blocks higher than this. There we go. And then again, we're gonna go to about the same place, and we're gonna do, it's the same idea, just smaller. So right there. Let's come out over here, pull some of this out like that. Let's come over here, maybe right there. Yeah, you see again, randomly, well, not really randomly, it's kind of wherever it's missing, like right here, starting to feel kind of, every time you place a branch, it'll make another place seem kind of naked and empty. So we place this branch here, and then we kind of fly around and see, well, now this place seems kind of empty and naked. So we're gonna come up here and kind of fill it up. Okay, they're getting way too long for this high up on the tree. And then this one's also way too long. And that's kind of making this area feel a bit naked, so we'll pop up on there. See, and now we've got a nice little thing, and the same thing again, we're just gonna grab these, cover the whole thing, and leave a few spaces, a few branches, like right here maybe on this one. We'll just put one right there, like that, like that, like that, and we'll leave that almost completely exposed. We'll cover that up right there. We'll put one right here. We'll leave this one more exposed, so we'll just go up above it and behind it, and we'll leave the rest of that exposed. We'll leave this one here a bit more exposed. Yeah, again, there's not much to say for the, there's a few tips and tricks of actually what looks nice and what doesn't, but it's really just trial and error, and then just like an eye. You just gotta look and see, well, this here, you see this doesn't look good because it's too like symmetrical. So maybe if you, well, not symmetrical, there's just too big of a space that's open. So if you just kind of pull this up a bit and then maybe pop down one right there, it kind of makes it seem a bit more full. And here it doesn't look good because it's just too open right here. So we just want to maybe add in a few of these right there, kind of bring it together more. You see, you just gotta look around. This here definitely doesn't look good, how it's so like, this whole place is like a hole all the way to the center of the tree. So you just, whatever, you just kind of look around, whatever doesn't look good, fix that up. And there we go, that comes out pretty nice. So we've got a nice little start to our little woods here. It's coming out pretty nice. So yeah, I'll cut away, I'll get what I need, and I'll start. I'll actually take a look at how long this is, and we'll see if we have time to kind of do some terraforming around the area here to kind of bring these in, because they look a bit out of place right now. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I looked at the time, and turns out this is a very long video, so I'm not gonna have time to. I decided I wasn't gonna have time to really show the bringing it into the landscape, but I thought I would just go ahead and do it, and then kind of explain what I did briefly. I kind of went around to where you can see the shadow of the leaves, and like over here you can see the shadow kind of comes around there, and I just kind of would plop around a few podzol around there because it looks, I don't know, like fallen leaves and stuff. And then the rest was just my normal trick of just scattering around some lime terracotta, green concrete powder, green carpets, green wool, and some buttons, and some ferns, and some grass. And then finally, around the trunks of the trees, I added in some tall grass and some long ferns, just around the bases of all the trees to kind of, again, just bring them a bit more into the environment. But I think that is going to do it for this video. So if I just turn around, I think, yeah, I think that's it. So, so if you have any ideas of anything else you want me to work on, any other tutorials or whatever videos, like even like 1 or 2 comments on anything could really influence what I do, because this channel is very, very new. So if you have any ideas of what you want to see, maybe if you want more tutorials, then say that, and what type of tutorials. I could do a tutorial, some like underwater landscaping, or overwater landscaping, or some more house structure tutorials. Or if you're not interested in tutorials, if you want me to go back and work a bit more on my survival thing, or just mostly focus on this creative flat world, just let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in the future, any feedback really. Well, yeah, alright, so that does it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll yeah, see you later. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.